Another phrase I repeatedly hear from glib globe proponents is flat earthers just want to feel special. This condescending critique is meant to imply that those who advocate for flat earth do so for psychological and emotional reasons rather than due to verifiable evidence. Since we claim to have discovered a truth most are too ignorant or indoctrinated to see, this allows us to feel unique and intellectually superior to those who believe in conventional cosmology. By adamantly denying something deemed settled science, flat earthers can seem obtusely contrarian, making attempts at activism appear more like trolling or attention-seeking. Also, the idea that Earth is the stationary center of creation, around which the sun, moon, and stars all revolve, bestows a unique importance to Earth and humanity, which is often perceived as arising from flat earthers' need to feel special. For believers in the atheistic, nihilistic, Big Bang cosmology championed by the scientific establishment, where everything in existence, randomly and for no reason, exploded out of a singularity 14 billion years ago, the idea of purposeful creation by an intelligent designer can be quite challenging. If you truly believe that consciousness, life, nature, the complexity, diversity, and interconnectedness of everything in existence came about by accident and without reason, then the proposition that Earth is actually the center of creation becomes more about spirituality than cosmology. Since mainstream science has outright rejected any notion of a higher power or creative designer, accepting flat Earth means rejecting atheism. So it is no surprise that the people claiming flat earthers just want to feel special are almost always atheists. From an atheistic perspective, flat earthers and other creationists seem to be exercising magical wishful thinking. The idea of an invisible superbeing creating the material world sounds like an unscientific fairy tale. From a creationist perspective, however, it is the atheists who are exercising magical thinking. When you philosophically exclude the possibility of a purposeful, intelligent, creative consciousness responsible for constructing the material world, the only answer left is random happenstance. If you reject the possibility of intelligent design, then everything that exists must be the result of coincidence, chance, and circumstance. But even mainstream scientists have noted how that notion is simply untenable. For example, astronomer Fred Hoyle compared the odds that all the multifaceted and multifunctional parts of a single cell could coincidentally come together and create life, analogous to a tornado sweeping through a junkyard and assembling a Boeing 747 from the materials therein. Hoyle wrote, "If there were a basic principle of matter which somehow drove organic systems toward life, its existence should easily be demonstrable in the laboratory. One could, for instance, take a swimming bath to represent the primordial soup. Fill it with any chemicals of a non-biological nature you please. Pump any gases over it or through it you please, and shine any kind of radiation on it that takes your fancy. Let the experiment proceed for a year, and see how many of those 2,000 enzymes have appeared in the bath. I'll give you the answer, and so save the time and trouble and expense of actually doing the experiment. You will find nothing at all, except possibly for a tarry sludge composed of amino acids and other simple organic chemicals." Astrobiologist Chandra Wickram Singh stated, "The likelihood of the spontaneous formation of life from inanimate matter is 1 to a number with 40,000 zeros after it. It is big enough to bury Darwin and the whole theory of evolution. The beginnings of life were not random. They must have been the product of purposeful intelligence. From my earliest training as a scientist, I was very strongly brainwashed to believe that science cannot be consistent with any kind of deliberate creation. That notion has had to be painfully shed." And Turkish evolutionist professor Ali Demirsoy stated, "The probability of the coincidental formation of cytochrome C, just one of the essential proteins for life, is as unlikely as the possibility of a monkey writing the history of humanity on a typewriter without making any mistakes. Some metaphysical powers beyond our definition must have acted in its formation." In other words, the atheistic notion of a random, reasonless, godless Big Bang accidentally creating everything in existence is just as much a fairy tale of magical wishful thinking as simple creationism, and arguably more so. The geocentric flat Earth model does indeed denote a special place of importance to our home, but the heliocentric globe model emphasizes the exact opposite, claiming Earth is only one of an estimated septillion planets in the universe. 1 septillion, a 1 followed by 24 zeros, is a number so staggeringly large it baffles the imagination. If this were true, the existence of Earth would be about as special or unique as a grain of sand at the beach. Coming from this perspective, where Earth is deemed as insignificant as a drop of water in the ocean, it makes sense that flat earthers would be perceived as wanting to feel special. But is that really our motive? Ask any flat earther about our experience trying to teach or share with others what we have learned about geocentric cosmology, and prepare to hear a wide variety of shockingly negative responses. I have personally received death threats, been told never to breed, had both friends and family members completely cut ties, all because of this issue. If positive emotions like feeling special were truly what motivated flat earthers, we would be exhausted and quit after the first person we mentioned it to at the pub, or the first post we made about it on social media. Flat Earth is perhaps the most mocked, marginalized, and ridiculed topic in history, widely perceived as the most crackpot of all conspiracy theories. Literally nobody wants to become a flat earther. Nobody wants to be the laughingstock of the office, alienated from friends and family, ostracized from society, and labeled a crazy conspiracy kook. Far from making us feel special, speak with anyone about flat Earth, and they are almost guaranteed to make you feel like shit. Nobody becomes a flat earther for feel-good reasons. It is simply an unavoidable conclusion upon thoroughly examining the evidence. If psychological or emotional comfort were truly the impetus behind belief in flat Earth, nobody would maintain the position after their first interaction with someone. Flat earthers are almost always harshly ridiculed without remorse and treated like we belong in an asylum. Far from feeling special, we usually feel condemned and outcast for simply stating scientific facts like water always finds its level, and the horizon always rises to the eye of the observer. The geocentric model does denote Earth as having a special and unique importance, but the idea that flat earthers just want to feel special oversimplifies the issue into being one of mere psychological or emotional appeal, instead of the truth, which is that flat earthers base our knowledge on repeatable, demonstrable, empirical evidence.